Well, hello. Hello, friends. Hello, lovers and friends. Greetings and good tidings to all. How is everyone? How is one and all? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hopefully your morning is as good as mine. We're going to sit around and we're going to blitz. We're going to do some card reading and we're going to talk a little bit about missing royals. Missing royals and dead royals. Oh, I forgot to put a T. The T is not capitalized for dear poor Lord Thomas Kingston. May he rest in peace. Yes. Let me see if I can fix that here. Oh, no, I can't. No, I can't. Maybe in edit video. Can I put it in there? Yes. All right. Got to put a T in there with a capital. Yes. How is everyone? Everyone good? Good morning. A fine morning to you all. Yes. I'm beginning to think that the world has truly run amok. Yes. I don't know what's going on with the royals. My goodness, they're dropping like flies left and right. So I know you mourning. I guess the mourning crowd is partly the European crowd. Yes. Hello to those of you in Europe who are joining us. Cheers, coffee to all. In one of my brand new cups, courtesy of our floor director, our design person, Debbie Brady. I'm having some Pete's coffee. Pete's Major Dickinson is the coffee. I'm enjoying it immensely. I have been doing intermittent fasting and it is changing my life. Cheers. So, how is everyone? Let's first give gratitude to all of you and let me say hi to you and just check in on you and see how you're holding. Hi, Christine Brooks. Be sure and tell me where you're coming from, what you're eating, what you're drinking, what part of the world you're coming from, what you're doing to take care of yourself and feel like you're more human throughout the day. An earth helper. Well, I like how that sounds. Hi, Melissa. Hi, Martha Morais. Rhonda Shanks is in the house. Welcome. Jane M. Janie H. Hi. And of course, the amazing Wendy Burt is here with beautiful flowers and rainbows and butterflies. And didn't see puppies today, but I'm sure they're coming. Melissa, Yvette, Claudia Veras, of course, always here. B. Mike, Kimberly Knaus. Always great to see you all. We've got New Jersey here. Miami is here. Oh, my goodness. If you're out in Britain or Northern Europe, I hear you guys are going to get another cold snap. So I guess Siberia is rebelling. I guess we had some warm weather and now comes see, this always happens. We get lulled into thinking that it's going to be an early spring and then things change. So I guess there's some really cold weather that's going to be coming. Savannah, Georgia in the house. Hi, Ben. Good to see you. Good to see you here. So should we do the empath prayer? Do you think there's enough of us to do the empath prayer and start talking about dishing the dirt on the royals? Oh, San Antonio. Hi, Christine. 50 Shades also from Jersey, New York City, representing Lolabella. Michigan in the house, Jojo. Well, I'm in Portland, Oregon. I say that I'm the Oracle of Whimsy Broadcasting from somewhere in Tel Aviv by way of Portland, Oregon. My sister city is Tel Aviv. I am a dual citizen. I will be living part of the time in the United States, part of the time in Israel. As many of you know, I will be going back and forth. So, where to live? Tel Aviv, Jerusalem, Jerusalem, Tel Aviv. Probably Jerusalem. Tel Aviv is fantastic. You know what? I go back and forth. Part of me loves Jerusalem because my friends are in Jerusalem. Part of me loves Tel Aviv because I'm not Orthodox, though I certainly respect greatly Orthodox Jewish people. And I would like to become more observant as a Jewish person. So I respect all that. Yeah, it's good stuff. But I don't know. But yeah, I will probably be doing the dual thing. Dual citizen, dual. Michael Rappaport is pulling it off. I figure there's no excuse, you know? I got places to stay. I got people to meet. You know, it is what it is. All right. Probably May. I'll be back in spring to do some more volunteering. I'd like to see if some other stuff is going on that I can. The truth of the matter is, when I'm there, I get in the way and I annoy people and I piss off the IDF, but which is not what I meant to do, because I support and love I love Israel. I love the IDF. I'm not on anybody. I don't mean to. I'm just a yenta trying to help, right? But no, I'd like to go back and do more volunteer work. So that's what will be going on, and seeing what we can do to make the world a better place, right? Isn't that what it's all about? This light is just shining in my eyes in ways that are very annoying. Oh, did I unplug my own? What the heck? I think I just lost a light. I just lost two lights. Hold on. It's one of those days. Ah! Ever had one of those days? Okay, this is why. Isn't this so much better than Hollywood? We're so real here. You know, we're just so freaking real. No one plays games, or we do, but we let you in on the game. You know what I mean? Which is, you always want everyone to be in on it, right? Putin addressed the Federal Assembly 8 hours ago. Oh my God, I'm sure that was interesting. I think we need to do the empath's prayer. You know, I got into some really heavy energy the last couple of days talking with Thomas Kingston, Lord Kingston, who was found dead the day of King Constantine's Constantine II. Is that right? His memorial. So I swear the royals are dropping like flies, and actually Lord Kingston wanted to talk about that. The royals are dropping like flies. He's in my ear, by the way, Lord Thomas Kingston. I like him. I like him very much. There's some things he wants to relay, Lord Thomas Kingston, and I will make sure Um, I will make sure to let this be known. All right, let's go ahead and what do they say? Well, let me go ahead. All right, let's do the empath prayer because we have some stuff to talk about. Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, we say, Amen. So when I was in Israel, I found a book, and the book, I apologize for having to get up again. I'll see if I can find this book. Unfortunately, I can't find the book. I was cleaning up and putting things. Is that the book? Yes, it is. That's right where I was sitting. I apologize. So we're talking about the death of Sir Thomas Kingston, who's the former beau. He's a very good-looking man. He was married in quite Lord Thomas Kingston. Also, Kate Middleton is still missing. People don't understand why she can't just Zoom and say, hello, everyone. It would be great. So last night I did a remote on this, and I've been remote viewing this off and on for a while. And here is the profile that they would like you to know. This is a general profile of what it is to grow up an aristocrat. So the first thing is I want to show you a book, and the book is it's written by Philippe J. Will. He's a Swiss banker who became an Israeli, and his job was to help the wealthy with their estates, leaving money to their families, building legacies. And the argument was, it's really hard to be rich, which sounds hysterically funny, but he addresses the burdens of the rich in his book, The Woes of the Rich. And you think it's going to be a comedy book, but it actually turns out to be a nightmare. So you've got family members, everybody wants to be close to the power, everyone wants a piece of the power. Now, if you go into a remote view of people who are very, very powerful, I use Elon Musk as an example because he's something of a mentor of mine, which is, by the way, not the same as saying I like his politics, because I think he's kind of gone off I don't know what the hell's going on with him. I'm just talking about inspirational things that he said and how he has encouraged other people who he has mentored. But one of the things that Elon Musk talks about is he talks about have a vision. And I'm talking about before he went a little loopy, right? But if you're just talking about him as a mentor to you, somebody who has achieved a lot of their goals and they want to inspire you, right? So they say, have a vision. Who am I or anybody else to say that your contribution to the world is less or greater than mine. The point is are you helping? Are you team human? Are you team earth? Are you trying to help? And then you take that vision very, very, very seriously, just like your mentor would. And the more seriously you take that mission, the more seriously other people will take that mission. The more time you will dedicate to that mission, the more respect you will show your mission. But herein lies the problem. You then must give that mission to somebody else, and that person becomes the inheritor. Now, if you're someone like John Adams, the second president of the United States, or no, he was not the second. Was it Thomas Jefferson that was the second? Maybe he was the third. I always forget. I think he might have been the third. It was first. Yeah, Thomas Jefferson was the second. What John Adams had a son that was an alcoholic, and then he had John Quincy Adams, right, who was the one who inherited his legacy. But it was a source of misery for John Adams that he had worked his entire life for something and felt like he had no one who would keep the legacy going. And in Tarot, that's called the 10 of Pentacles. So 10 of Pentacles is what we inherit. And it's often a misunderstood card because people think, well, I'm going to inherit something, woohoo. But they don't understand you're going to inherit everything, including bad genetics, right? Bad knees, right? Whatever it is. So it's a complicated card that has positive and negative aspects. It also has spying and intrigue and cutthroat, right? So that's one of the things that comes up when you study the woes of the rich. Nobody is perfect, right? Nobody is perfect. Nobody is perfect. So because nobody is perfect, we all make mistakes, and none of us can be none of us can be a perfect size 0 and live a normal life and raise 3 perfect children and be all things to all people. So the standards for the aristocrat are the burden. So much of the burden of the rich, is in the expectations that we place on the rich. Can you all see that? So when he talks about the woes of the rich, he's saying, well, now that you're rich, the rest of the world has certain expectations for you. Well, now that you're the prince, or because you're the prince, everybody has certain expectations for you, and that becomes the woe. The other woe is that you don't know who loves you, or who loves your money, or who loves your status. There is a certain group of people, the Red Hatters in Britain, that will do anything to uphold the crown, even to the point where if Prince William was engaged in domestic violence, for example, theoretically, they would do everything in their power to cover it up and then try and spread a rumor that Harry was an abusive drunk, right? Because it would deflect from anything that's going to prop up and protect the royal family at all cost. And this is something that people in the United States are not getting. They're not getting it. They're never going to get it because they don't understand that this is an institution that requires a lot of people to prop it up. Just like in the case of when you had the attempted revolution of January 6th, and for some bizarre reason, they're not all in prison, which I think that blows my mind more than anything else, because you would think that if something this horrible were to happen, there would be more of an outcry. But so the takeaway here is that when you place these types of expectations on people, when you place expectations on people that they have to be perfect, that they have to be a perfect body, um, you know, it has a psychological toll it takes on you. It has a psychological toll it takes on you. One of the things we've also talked about is we've talked about head injuries. Here's a picture of young Prince William. He sustained quite a serious head injury. This is the frontal lobe area you're seeing here. This injury, let me see if I can, I don't know, can you see my, yeah, you can. So we can see here is the area of the scar. This area right here, this is the frontal lobe area. This is the last part of the brain that develops. And when we're children, it's not fully developed. Okay? So it's not even fully developed. If you're in my mystery school, we have a mystery school. We meet every Wednesday. We teach the mysteries, HCR Beach Row, etc. But one of the things we talk about is, and we talk about herbalism and medicine quite a bit. But one of the things we talk about is we talk about the fact that humans do not have a single brain. Humans have 4 distinct brains. And these 4 distinct brains are communicating to come together to form this structure of a self. And the frontal lobes are the last part to develop. And we're not talking about maturation of frontal lobes when you're a minor, and this is why you can't be charged as an adult, because the impulse control circuit, which is the frontal lobe, hasn't been fully developed. There's also communication between the temporal lobe and the frontal lobe, which you see here, the scar goes from here and it runs over here. This over here, which is a thin bone, by the way, which is along the ear. This area here is the temporal lobe. And there's a relationship between the left temporal lobe and the frontal lobe. And it's about communication and impulse control. There's also a relationship between the amygdala, which stores negative memories, trauma, complex PTSD, for example. We see interesting things, an enlarged amygdala, and communication between the left temporal lobe and frontal lobe. So theoretically, in a lesion of this type, you might have damage where the prefrontal cortex, which starts right about in this area over here, and the frontal cortex are not communicating, which would lead to theoretically poor impulse control in someone that had this circuit damaged. And possibly their frontal lobe might not be properly developed. So if you're looking at theories, we're looking at not, I hate Dr. Whimsy, I'm going to hurt Dr. Whimsy because Dr. Whimsy is telling me something that I don't want to hear. That's not what this is. Left temporal lobe injury and anger issues. Issues with inhibition. I didn't invent any of this stuff, right? And the research on this, does this person theoretically have permanent brain damage? Affecting memories, amygdala, trauma memories. We do specs, right? We're going to do a spec. We want to see how the temporal lobe communicating with the frontal lobe is possibly having an impact on this person's cognition, temper, behavior. Are they at greater risk for some types of dementia early on? We've also talked about alcoholism and drug abuse quite a bit, both in my channel, but also in mystery school with the students. And we know from research that alcohol can impair communication between the prefrontal and frontal cortex and impulse control that we see in the limbic system, etc. And we've talked about the limbic system or the rabbit brain. We've talked about the reptilian complex, the reptile brain, fight, flight, flee, freeze, right? So do we have with Prince William potentially somebody who's brain damaged, somebody with mental health problems, and somebody who appears to have a serious drinking problem? Now, the problem with the whole rumor One Pint Willie, I don't even know what they mean by One Pint Willie. Are they saying after one pint he punches people? What exactly are they saying when they talk about One Pint Willie? Because he's a notorious drunk and always has been. And I'm sorry, you don't change your ways. They met in college. She was the head of the women's drinking club. They got together and they drank. That's what the women's drinking club was for drinking. So what do two people do who like to drink? Drink. Drink, 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 drink. And they drink some more, and they drink some more, and they keep on drinking, and then the babies come, and then you got to put on the facade that you got to rewrite history and say that this stuff never happened, or, oh, we were just in college. I was in college. You won't find a single photograph of me like this in college or my friends, and I'm not a religious freak or anything. It's just that college is expensive, and I come from a poor family, and I was staying in the dorms for kids from Cambodia, and we were studying to try and get into medical school. We didn't have time for this crap. If I was there, I was catering to pay for school. One pint? Looks like more than a pint to me. We have a problem. We have a problem. We have a problem. We've had a problem. The problem in plain sight. Problem that nobody wants to talk about, and all we have to do is feed the press BS about One Pint Willie and how Kate is strict about alcohol, and you can all pretend that none of this ever happened. All pretend. So all pretend and rewrite history, because that is what we learn from 1984, right? Just create a new reality. Start telling people that everybody did it in college, even if we didn't. The pressures of the rich. This is what Spirit wants you to understand. The woes of the rich. The pressure to be an aristocrat. When you are born, it's, when you are born to this kind of power, it doesn't matter that you didn't build any of it. It's like I'm proud of my medicinary, right? It's a little tiny medicinary of a few hundred herbs, right? It's actually not that small. And in another 5 years, it might be 5,000 herbs. But now I have to find a student witch, naturopath, to take on my legacy or my legacy will go under. Do you understand? Now, say the witch doesn't know what the heck she's doing and she shows up and there are hundreds of books on witchery, medicine, naturopathic medicine, etc. But she doesn't know all of this stuff because she doesn't have any training. So what happens? She becomes depressed and overwhelmed, right? Because she's inherited the wealth. She hasn't earned the wealth. But the expectation of the world is you better know what the hell you're doing because look at what you've inherited. You've inherited Dr. Whimsy's witchery, right? So to a greater, this is 10 times worse than that, right? This is 1,000,000 times worse than that. So what's happening to these kids is that they get born into established wealth with dying aristocracies who are in serious financial trouble. And Lord Thomas Kingston can talk to you a little bit about that. So their finances are trashed. The finances of the aristocrats are not what they were. They go to these Ivy League schools, which are extremely competitive, and the pressure is immense. The pressure to look your best, the pressure to have the best grades, the pressure to be the wonder kid, the pressure to make it look like it all came so easy. And so what happens to this pressure pot is that they start looking for socially acceptable ways to decompress. Can you see that? And the way that they decompress is by getting out on the weekends with their aristocratic friends who are under similar pressure, and you go out and you drink. And you drink and you drink and you drink. Because of the pressure. It's just pressure. It's the pressure. Now, after the babies come, you can't act like this in public, which is even more pressure. So you've got to hide the problem. And so how do you hide the problem? You can't just stop because college is over. You've got to figure it out, right? You've got to, if you're showing up at events drunk and you're belligerent because you already have a head injury, so your frontal lobe function isn't all that great to start with. And then you start mixing alcohol, which blocks communication between the prefrontal and frontal. You're talking about potentially a pretty damn dangerous drunk. Now, alcoholism could be socially acceptable in the sense that everybody drinks, because this is what aristocrats do, honey, we drink. We smile to the crowds, and as soon as the door is locked, we pick up the bottle because of the pressure. And that's a problem too. So then you have what's called the private drunk. You can't be the public drunk anymore. You've got to keep it private and tell people, oh, that was a phase. I'm over it. I'm over it. That was then. I'm reformed. The woes of the rich. Now, the other thing is we see the same phenomenon in Hollywood, right? In Hollywood, the woes of the rich. They've got to be perfect. They've got to have the prettiest smiles, the best looking, everything, at the top of the game. Their clothes have to be the most expensive, tailored, perfect, and everybody's got to be staring at you and thinking, oh my God, you're a god, right? Hollywood royalty. So they have their British aristocrats. We have our Hollywood royal. So again, what's the problem? The burden of the rich, the burden of the aristocrats. We all want to be aristocrats. We all want to be special. But the problem is, Who can live up to that kind of pressure? I'm lucky if I can put on lipstick most days, right? So in Hollywood, we have a drinking problem, but in Hollywood, we have a drug problem also. So part of the woe of being rich and famous is the pressure, and the ways that people deal with pressure. Agreed? Who are you going to talk to? You're going to talk to other people who are just like you. The doors are going to be locked, and out comes the booze, right? Can you go to Alcoholics Anonymous? Pretty funny idea. Hello, my name is Kate. You might see a therapist to talk about your emotional problems and your emotionally distant husband because of his high pressure public profile job. And then you might be like Mrs. Robinson, hiding it in a pantry where no one ever goes after the kids are asleep. Your bottle, just like Diana. Your pills, just like Diana. And in some cases, the pills given to you by the doctor that was sent to you by the crown. Drug her, dose her up, get her off my back. She's asking about my mistress, right? So what happens when you pop pills and alcohol? What happens when you've got a combination of pills and alcohol? Problems, depending upon how the pills might interact with alcohol. What's happening to your health, your diet, digestion, etc., if you're drinking your calories? Your health is going downhill. Your digestion, your liver, your stomach, the lining of your digestive tract, your immune system. Could you accidentally overdose? Does it happen all the time with people who are under high pressure? Yes. And then we have to pump your stomach. What happens if the stomach is accidentally ruptured or injured when we attempt to get you out of an overdose? Person could die. We've also had people choke. We've had people choke on their own vomits, aspirate. Aspiration on vomit is very common. Stroke. Yes, you could stroke out. And then after a stroke, what kind of function might you have? Is it an accidental suicide? Was it an accident? Did the person just was taking pills prescribed for depression, muscle relaxants, etc., and then took a couple glasses of wine? The next thing you know, a bunch of police and an ambulance is at Kensington Palace, and somebody is going in for a planned abdominal surgery, even though they had their schedule interrupted, which makes no sense. If it's planned, why would you interrupt? Why would you cancel your engagements? So a person might have an accidental overdose. Then if you were discovered, you would be your stomach would be pumped. If enough of the medication had gotten in to where the person had potential brain damage, one of the reasons is because the person stopped. If you took a muscle relaxant and mixed it with alcohol, you could see a stroke due to lack of oxygen because the person stops breathing, which is unfortunately what happened to Heath Ledger. In the case of Lord Thomas Kingston, the first thing I felt as Lord Thomas Kingston was under pressure. Under pressure. Da, 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 da. I felt this pressure. To good-looking guy, right? You want these people to be bigger than life. You want them to be better. You want them to be smarter. They have to have it all together because we want to believe that this is possible for anyone, right? But the truth of the matter is that that's not reality. The truth of the matter is that nobody is that together, that human beings are just human beings, and that we all have a breaking point. And sometimes it's financial. For example, I felt as Thomas Kingston that I was in some serious financial trouble. My exact words as Lord Thomas Kingston were something about my shirt. I lost my shirt. That's what I said. Excuse me. Sorry for the cough. I lost my shirt. Between you and me, I lost my shirt. So Thomas, he said he's very embarrassed he's lost his shirt. So Thomas Kingston appears to be in serious financial trouble, according to what he is telling me. I've got to get some water. My apologies. Inherited wealth. Just because I inherited it doesn't mean I know how to run a company, doesn't mean I know how to handle money, doesn't mean I know how to handle any of this. The truth of the matter is I don't know how to handle anything. And so when I look at Thomas Kingston, I see a man that's putting on a facade, but he doesn't know how to handle any of this stuff. I don't even know if he has the money to pay for this wedding. This is a man that would like to run quickly out of this situation, which I am simply not equipped to handle. Goodbye. That's the man I'm communicating with. This is a facade. This isn't real. And eventually you'll all figure it out. I am not this person. I don't have money. I don't know how to make money. I don't know how to be this person. I am not this person. This is not who I am. And I find I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed by how I'm trying to present myself, because the truth of the matter is that the person you're looking at here is not who I am. I find I'm a rather emotionally sensitive person. I don't have a lot of things worked out. I'm trying to work them out. I'm a very sensitive person, but I feel like people want answers and expect things from me because of my station that I don't have. I don't have these answers that people are asking me for. I want to be the person people want me to be. I just don't think I am that person. I would very much like to be that person. Maybe I put on the air of being that person, but the truth of the matter is I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just working things out. I got myself in hot water financially. I really don't know what I'm doing. Was it an accidental overdose? Now, we're getting feedback in the remotes that people are drinking. People are embarrassed. People feel like that the expectations being placed on them are impossible. It's causing people to have anxiety where they want to jump out of their own skin. They can wear the perfect clothing and the perfect smile for maybe 2 hours, but then after that, they've got to jump out of there and get back to being a regular human being, because it's the ultimate acting performance. So, what is wrong with people that we expect this from other people? And what is wrong with people that we think we want this for ourselves? So, if you're looking at the book, The Gifts of Imperfection by Brene Brown, the only way we can really be effective as human beings is that we have to become authentic as people. And the tragedy of Lord Thomas Kingston is that he was in a gilded cage where being authentic wasn't really an option. And he was consumed by that golden cage. And I don't think he could live up to the economic responsibility. And I'm concerned it was an intentional suicide because there's an apology here. Now, in the case of Kate, so does anyone? Let's talk about that first. I feel like I'm looking at a potential intentional suicide with Lord Thomas Kingston. If you're a remote viewer and you got something different, alcohol and drugs, which is what Lord Thomas Kingston wanted to talk about, that aristocrats are starting to do. They've always done drugs and alcohol, but the problem's becoming far worse. And the reason is because of the pressure that's put on them by society to live up to standards that they can't live up to. And so privately they drink, just like Diana drunk privately. And then she was given drugs by the family psychiatrist. So it becomes a very dangerous thing. And so what happened to Lord Thomas Kingston is he got involved in some bad business advice. Because they have to pay taxes and they're losing their mansions and their estates, and they don't know how to hold on to this. They're not necessarily economic geniuses just because daddy was Lord whoever. And so a lot of them get in hot water and then they go to other aristocrats. Can you bail me out? Can you bail me out? That's what Age of Innocence is about, right? The Edwardians and the House of Mirth, right? Everybody is trying to put on facades that everything's fine with us while the entire thing is going belly up. And that's also what's happening to aristocrats. I mean, Lord Thomas Kingston was having real economic problems from what he tells me. And that he was a sensitive person. That type of sensitivity, I think he would have been good working as like a community college or a school teacher teaching environmental studies. I think he would have been quite happy. And I think, get him a 1-bedroom apartment with his wife, or, if they can afford a council house, 2-bedroom, and have 1 or 2 kids. I think if that had been the world, sorry, I lost my tissue. I don't know what happened to it. I think if that had been the world that Lord Kingston had been born into, Lord Thomas Kingston, my name is Dr. Whimsy Anderson. I'm going to curse you. Your education, you will now be sent to this council house. You'll be given two rooms, one for you and your wife and one for the baby, and you'll be teaching at this public school, and that's your destiny. I think and you'll be teaching environmental sciences. And if you were to curse Lord Thomas Kingston with that, he would say, "Oh, thank God. God bless you." The burden. You just look at his wedding and get me out of here. Get me out of here now. This is not where I want to be. I want to be sitting in nature, maybe talking to young people. He's this guy. This is the guy I connected with, right? So, this page isn't available. Wants to be in nature, feels like the real him. You see this a lot in the LGBTQ community, right? People kill themselves because they're not allowed to be free to be you and me. So he was a sensitive guy that wanted to live in nature and live a simple life. I mean, look at the shirt, like wrinkle. He was like, and this is what he felt pressured to be. It was his family expectation. But this is look at he is very uncomfortable. Um, I mean, he loves the girl. He loves his wife very much. I mean, he was apologizing to her, but he can't. This is not who he is. This is the family expectation of the type of wedding that he was expected to have. But the truth of the matter is, this didn't fit his personality at all when you go in. And when you go into his energy, he always wanted to escape. He's always trying to get out. I felt like I'm trying, get me out of here, 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 get me out of here. I wish I could. So he got himself out of there. So what can we learn from him? What can we learn from celebrities that are going through similar drug problems, Robert Downey Jr., etc.? Maybe we need to stop creating these fantasies because it's not sustainable. These icons are not sustainable. I don't know why I do this. It's because it's such a small thing. I think you guys can't see me, but of course you can. Yeah, so let's do some blitzes about it. Somebody said, "You're on here too long with your coffee talk." I'm like, well, then don't hang out with us and do coffee talk. I was like, what do you want from my life? Okay, so we're going to do Lord Thomas Kingston first, but that was the remote message that they really wanted to get through is we've got to stop this. It's not good for their mental health, and it's not good for our mental health. I think, look, if he was in that kind of serious financial problem, it just was mounting. His pressures were mounting. Like that wedding, he couldn't afford that wedding. It's like, oh my God, I have to have this wedding. He kept being pushed. You have to do this. You have to do this. You have to spend this money. You have to be this person. You have to be. You have to be. And maybe marrying an aristocrat wasn't such a good idea. Because you've got to keep up with the Joneses. You've got to keep up with the Windsors. You've got to keep up with the. Right. Excuse me. He didn't want it. He didn't want inherited wealth. I had a different path. I didn't want it. Lord Thomas Kingston, I think his wife had certain expectations. A wife, well, we've got to have this costume and this clothing. And it wasn't me. It's not just different priorities. The child of wealth, let me show you. You see what we got here? Child of wealth. It's not what he wanted. He didn't want to be a child of wealth. The wealthy kid. Commerce, communication, he wants to go somewhere else. To be a bridge. Not a very good Tory. Excuse me. Family legacy was the burden. was a mountain. The inheritance was a mountain he couldn't climb. Look at that. The expectations. He was isolated also. Look at this mountain and freeze. He was isolated. He was in trouble with his own community. The bridge. He was, a pariah or in trouble. Look at this, the kingdom. He couldn't be, there were stumbling blocks, and he couldn't be what was expected of him. I wonder if he had anxiety because of all of this, but and might have taken something. But this almost looked intentional, and that's what's disturbing about the remote. This is more, though, than him just loving gardening. This guy could not economically. I'm sorry, something's setting me off here. He couldn't economically. He could not afford his lifestyle. That was the bottom line. Lord Thomas Kingston, the first emotion I feel is it's very embarrassing. My first feeling as him is that this is very embarrassing for me. This is this is the Dreaming Way, and this is the Lenormand deck. This is the romantic deck of some type. I can't remember. So if what Lord Thomas is saying is true, then what do y'all think about that? Let me just go ahead and pin this. If what he's saying is that the pressure has led many in the aristocracy to turn to a lifestyle that is similar to the lifestyle that you see in Hollywood, and that is a decadent lifestyle in order to cope with the pressure, drugs and alcohol. And so what we're starting to see now is the consequences of the drugs and alcohol and this private lifestyle that we're keeping a secret, which is why sometimes you'll hear about a famous person overdosing. It's the private way you decompress from the 2 hours that were spent entertaining you. So that brings us back to Prince William. Prince William did not attend the memorial service, right? So I felt as Prince William that the 2 to 3 hours, usually they have an engagement. It's a set amount of time. Everything is set. You will arrive at this time. You will sit here. You will meet and greet. Then you will go here for a brief luncheon. Then you will go. Everything is timed. Your bladder is timed. I know because I used to be friends of one of the Secret Service. You have to use the loo. This is your last chance to use the loo. You will not have a chance to use the loo again for 3 hours, right? If you had to use the loo, you just had to buck up and take it. Doesn't surprise me if he had bladder cancer or something like that, the king, because it's associated with people who have to hold their bladders for long periods of time, right? So, I felt as Prince William, when I put myself into the remote, that I found it very difficult to pull it off. The BAFTA awards and to present like everything was fine and joking around it was a disaster. And I feel like the facade of putting on that everything is okay would be virtually impossible for me. Because it's one thing for me to go and wave and smile and shake hands and pose. That's a gig I could probably do at this particular time as Prince William. Okay, as Prince William, my mental health being what it is at this time, I could maybe handle waving and a photograph. But the problem I had as Prince William was the fact that they were asking more. They were asking me to speak and to give a eulogy. And that was more than I felt mentally that I was capable of, given everything that's going on. And so the truth of the matter is, I didn't have the mental wherewithal to be there. That was the personal matter of why I canceled. Didn't want to answer potentially uncomfortable questions about my wife's illness. Didn't want to answer questions. I wanted to have the privacy, have the, and I felt like at that particular event, because the number of people there were family members, I felt privacy would be impossible. And I also felt it would be difficult for me to speak without becoming visually and emotionally distraught. So it's like he took a personal day, a mental health day. But let's take a look at Prince William. My first feeling as Prince William is just how much I need Kate for these types of events. Like, I can't function without her. The degree to which I realize I'm helpless without her, the degree to which I this kind of presentation that he doesn't give a crap about his wife, I don't feel that. Quite the opposite. I feel like she is the one that everybody looks to her, and she makes me look good, and she kind of alleviates some of the stress of being emotionally available, because I don't like all that in my face kind of a thing, right? Like when Meghan tried to hug me, Prince William, right? So she takes care of all that emotional stuff. But she's gone now. So now I have to deal with all the emotional stuff that I used to have Kate take care of. And now they want me to handle all the emotional stuff. Well, I can't handle the emotional stuff. That's Kate's job. How are you all doing emotionally? That's her. That's her thing. That's not my thing. So I need Kate to come back. I got to have my wife back. I need my wife to be the emotional foundation of the business. So we have this swans. If he did screw up, if he did mess up, I think he does not want to lose his wife. You know, not with a swan, but there's this letter of writ, and then the cross he must bear. The man must bear a cross. She could be quite ill. It could be that there was something that happened in surgery. I think there might have been problems in the marriage, but I think that now William is very focused on, I think he's genuinely worried about his wife. And I think it's having a profound effect on his mental health. And I think that's why he had to cancel. He had said it had nothing to do with her, but his dad's sick also. I do feel that. I feel that this person emotionally is very very invested in trying to get his wife well. I want to use the other deck and see if I get more information. I want to see about, because I'm having trouble getting in to her records, but let me see if I can see how if I can find any information about Kate via Prince William. He feels trapped. It's the same thing, trapped. Mother of his children. Trapped. He feels trapped. Trying to get well. He's having a health concern. Trying to get control, right? This is something that's come up a lot with him, boundaries and control. Sees himself as he's in a state of grief. His world is in crisis. His father and his wife, these are two of the most important people in his life, grief. The family tree, right? He's coming out of deception. Yeah, feeling like he's been dishonest. He's been dishonest with his wife. Inverted Ten of Pentacles, dark inheritance. He inherited that. See, he inherited dark things. He inherited darkness. Dirty family secret. He inherited a dirty family secret. His wife is here. This was inverted. The trickster of his wife. His other has failed. She has failed. Ace of Wands, she has lost her boundaries. She has failed. His hope and his fear, letting everything go. Loss of everything. His final outcome, crash. The clarification over his family inheritance is lost. He will lose his family inheritance. His wife will leave. She will go. She will go somewhere else. His hope and his fears, his own stubbornness, his inability to take offers, his final outcome over the destruction, his marriage contract could be over. We're looking at potential divorce. The contract over. Tower. Loss of money and inheritance here. Dark inheritance. Look, she failed and moves on. Maybe she feels like she can't do it anymore. Let's go ahead and do her next. What do you think? Crazy, huh? Don't it always seem to go? You don't know what you've got till it's gone. Right? Isn't that how the song goes? Take paradise, put up a parking lot. A pink hotel, a boutique, and a swinging hot spot. Don't it always seem to go? You don't know what you've got till it's gone. That's William. He doesn't know what he's got till it's gone. She got sick, and then she couldn't do it anymore. And, she was worried that she was going to be put away. But now we're at this situation where he's the one saying, what the hell have I been doing? I can't even go to a public event without her. I look like a damn fool. BAFTA was her event. She loved that event. She would have known precisely what to have said. Right? All right, let's look at Kate. How you doing, girl? Hopefully you're going to be okay. They're very into being private, the privacy thing. You know, when you look at her getting mad at Meghan Markle about joking about babies and hormones, which is a common joke we say in America, but I guess it doesn't translate in the, it's something that we say Americans, up hormones, you know, it's a passing joke, but oh my God, it just sent Kate Middleton into a tivy. Oh my Lord, you're talking about my hormones, my hormones, because she's so frayed mentally because she's got a wackadoodle husband. So now she starts taking it out on poor Meghan, who's just cracking a common joke that two sister-in-laws who have babies would be sharing. They're up our hormones again, up the babies. There we go. Like that is precisely how I joke with my family. We all have a good laugh. It doesn't turn into a fight where my brother's got his finger in my spouse's face threatening to punch him. You know, see a psychiatrist, for crying out loud. What the hell's wrong with you? Right? So Kate is living with this guy. And then you start to go into the energy of Kate. Well, who's Kate? I don't get a lot of deep thoughts here. I get somebody who was hanging out, flirting with a guy, and they drunk a lot. They hung out and they drank and they partied and kept it light. But I'm not getting deep thinker from Kate. I'm not getting that she's reading Odysseus, you know, reading about Odysseus and trying to figure out what was the search for, you know. She this is not I don't get the impression that she's an intellectual, an academic who's this looks like a very superficial relationship in some ways. Where's Kate? Okay, let's see. Like they bonded over alcohol and sex, and it's like and what do they do? What did they do? Go to the pub and hang out with friends and drink. So that's your hobby. Where she's at right now, she wants the the reason my husband hasn't visited me more than once, I want to be very clear here as Kate Middleton, is because I want him to get the fuck away from me. Thank you. Rumors that he only went to visit her one time, right? So let me put myself in her shoes, and what do I get? That's what I get. 7 of Wands. Away from me. I don't want you. I do not like this person, right? I hate him. I do not want him near me. So if my husband is not visiting me during my recovery, it's because I've requested that he not visit me. The king. King of Wands. Him. He's presenting as the angry king, by the way. He's presenting as King of Wands, even though I don't think he's a fire sign. 7 of Wands, fight it, get the hell away from me, my husband. So she does not want this man. She feels foolish regarding her compassion. She feels like she was foolish in how much she gave this individual. She's starting to fight back a little bit. What is above her? My biggest concern is my recovery, my health. What I'm sitting in, smoother waters. Do I want these waters to continue? So it goes back to the remote where she said, I want a divorce. If he doesn't get his act together, I want a divorce. Well, coming out of back and forth finances, there will be economic tolls. There's serious tolls to us getting a divorce. I want to flee. 7 of Swords. I want a divorce. That's why you're not seeing. We're not unified right now. I do feel like I'm well. I don't feel like I'm in a coma. I feel like I'm getting well, and part of my getting well is intense rage and anger at William. I don't give a crap anymore about saving my marriage after this happened. The fact that he literally threw his affair in my face. I feel the rage. I feel the rage. Away from me. Get the hell away from him. I want to get well. Where I'm at right now, I'm getting back to my power. Ace of Wands. My soon-to-be ex-husband wooing me. The hope and the fear. The church, the power, the institution. My final outcome, I'd like another boyfriend. The institution, the monarchy. I'd like to leave. I found a new boyfriend. Where I'm at right now, I'm in conflict. Legal documents, too many that I don't have the mental wherewithal to make these decisions. The other wants to, William doesn't want a divorce. He wants to work things out. Well, now he does because I'm serious. Hopes and fears, his father, the king, the monarchy and the king, the church, it's all one and the same. Four of Pentacles, there's an economic threat here of some type. No, I want a divorce. William is resisting. I'm not in a coma. But it is true about the drinking, the drugs, the health challenges. I think as Kate, I put up with a lot. I think he was very abusive, and he became increasingly abusive, and flippant, publicly drunk, flaunting his girlfriend, and got to a point. And then I had a health crisis, and then I started to get well, and then this anger began to burn in me. And then I did have a conversation with the king prior to this where he talked about my loyalty and that he was going to accept any decision I made. They don't want to see another divorce in the family. But King Charles is siding with me, Kate Middleton. He's siding with me in this case because of what William's behavior. At this rate, with the way I feel, I hate my husband. Yeah, that's what's going on. It's not a coma. So can they both smile and laugh in the middle of this together as a unified couple and say, I'm going to be fine? Not now. Because that's what's going on. So that hopefully it was serious, but the anger she feels now is the anger you get when you start to realize you're going to be okay. But then you have to look, she has had some serious thinking to do. 5 of Wands in the 7th house would indicate that she has been in serious conflict, but the economic toll to the firm is what they're thinking about, because if they're divorced, she's a big money maker. So now you have William, the complete screw up. Everybody hates him. The kid with the head injury, his wife hates him, and she does. Why isn't he visiting Kate? Because Kate said, I don't want to see. Get out. Can you blame her? Those pictures in the bar while she was in the frickin' hospital? Oh, well, I was stressed, and so I needed to go talk to my mistress. You couldn't wait till your wife was out of surgery, before you had to go to a bar and hang out with your girl? I don't blame. I think I'm pretty confident about those cards, and I think given how it looks, boy, he really screwed up. God, what was he thinking that he could get away with treating somebody like that? That she would just put up with it forever, and it just got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse until she had a health collapse, and then she was done. She wasn't totally done when she spoke to the king, but now she's done. I think that it's going to be close to it with those types of records. You guys saw it, 7 of Wands. That's when you say to your husband, You know, have you ever been in that state with somebody where you just want them to get, I will kill you. I will rip you to shreds. Seven of Swords. I gotta get out of here, right? So Five of Wands. I'm in. I don't know what to do. You need to the finances of the firm. I can't think right now. I got to get well. That's where I went to as Kate. I know. Four of Swords would have been coma, I think, if we'd gotten Four of Swords, and that would have been like a deep sleep. She is with Archangel Raphael in the fourth house, so that's good. That means she's trying to heal her life. Yes, Rush, exactly. Healing needs privacy, and so she needs to be given that. All right, so that is everything we have today for the coffee talk and tarot. You know, maybe we need to just realize that people are people, and stop these fantasies that anybody's life is perfect. And maybe then you know, it's irrational. You know, it doesn't surprise me that people in these classes get involved in drugs and alcohol because there's just too much pressure, right? All right. Thank you, everybody, for hanging with me. If you're trying to get in for a tarot reading with me, you can find the information below this video. Also, I'm available for naturopathic health coaching and herbal treatments. You can find that information also below. I see my patients through telehealth appointments. So you see me out of the comfort of your own home, and then we ship all your herbs to you. Okay, be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. Much love, and God bless. We'll see you next time. Be well, everyone.